our pre-close celebration party, and we're hanging out here. We're just thinking about the faithfulness of the Lord in this project. And one of the nice things that I've thought about is the ability to find an off-market property that we can develop. I was running back and forth between a couple of properties, evaluating those in our city, and I found a for sale by owner sign, so it's off market. That has helped us in this seller's market to be able to do our due diligence the way that we needed to do it. Our property also has 12 utilities on site, which is a real blessing. And our property also has multifamily zoning in place. The city really wants us to develop it. So those are some of the things that I have found to be the faithfulness of the Lord. We are working our guts out, but He keeps putting that cobblestone in front of us. Another thing is that it has been a barrier to entry to have trees on the lot, and having to go through the tree survey with our certified arborist and working through that. It's kept some developers from developing this property, but we rolled up our sleeves, we got into the details, and we figured it out. So all of that is into our zoning compliance plan, with our tree mitigation plan, our tree preservation plan, and our zoning compliance plan that's into the city right now. The last area that I wanted to mention, it's the faithfulness of the Lord in this generation, and it is a non-existent floodplain. The floodplain has dried up, so now in phase 2 we can go ahead and build on that. We have 4 professional maps showing that there's no floodplain on the property, down from 7 acres to no floodplain. It's amazing. And even the FEMA map from October 2021 is showing no floodplain on the property. So we are excited about our LOMR report from our hydrologist and on the hydraulics. We have gotten the reports done that we need to have done, and we are pushing forward with that, those entitlements, so that we can break ground here quickly.
Hey, Jerry Miller here. So I agree with you. The Lord has absolutely been faithful. I think from my point of view, just the fact that He's brought us together the way He has. DL and I sat next to each other at a real estate conference, and somebody started a channel, Christians doing real estate, and we both jumped into that. And I wasn't even really thinking about connecting with other Christians. And here we happen to sit next to each other, and she needs a capital raiser, and I'm looking to find a development partner. And so it was just custom made. The two of us would find each other. And so fast forward a little bit, after raising a little bit of money, she says, I really need help with entitlements, and would you like to be part of that? And it's actually always been a dream of mine to help develop with new construction for multifamily. So it was the perfect segue into something that I wanted to do anyway, and I didn't even know that the opportunity was there. And really, as I look at a number of things, I think the other area that the Lord's been faithful from my perspective is He has made crooked paths straight. What I mean by that is He has made things that appear to be very difficult very simple. Case in point, our wastewater study. We engage with our wastewater engineer. He looks at our property and says, hey, you've got all the capacity you need. You don't even need me. There was really nothing to do for that particular discipline, which was awesome. Our traffic impact study, we ran into a couple of issues with the city, and we just kind of presented to them, hey, this is what we did and why we did it. And the next thing you know, the impasse is solved. And so just today, we needed to get an easement on our neighbor's property to the north, and going to, a private property owner and getting an easement, I thought was going to be challenging. We met with them, and it went extremely well. And again, the Lord just shows up and just paves the path for it. So that's my update.
Hi, Armando Magallanes here. First of all, just want to thank, first of all, for having this blessed day, but especially this team and the one above. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without him. First of all, there's 3 small key points, and it's not even specific as in the actual development. I think it's just how certain things are uncovering, especially within us as all the team, and us as individuals coming together. One of it is I met Matthew, actually. I was able to meet DL and the team for Honor's Way through Matthew. I met Matthew about 4 years ago. We met at an investors meeting, and we just kept in touch, sporadically. And then finally, he came to me and he's all like, "Hey, we're doing this type of project or whatnot." I talked to him. I said, "Hey, I want to be more involved, perhaps some type of partnership or something like that." And he was able to present that information, and DL actually called me, and from there is kind of history. Fast forward a few months now, we have gone through a good process of what it is as entitlements, and I do think we're making great progress for the timing behind it. But it's just a team that's all there. We're very blessed, starting from Jerry, Aaron, Mike, and also Matthew. It's just everyone's kind of coming together and staying consistent and knowing that our ultimate objective is to create something great and only possible from the one above. And then ultimately, but last, DL is definitely pushing this. She's the workhorse behind it, but she is definitely pushing it and making things very smooth as in moving forward. And all we can do is try to support and do the best that we can. There are challenges, but I think in between all of us and the one above, we can overcome anything. And that's what we're here for Honor's Way.
Just about the faithfulness of the Lord. I'm grateful that the Lord has given me the guidance to assist this project. He's watched over all of us as we made progress with the work, and continues to show us the way. I had times in the beginning of working on this project when I sometimes felt full of doubt, but I just took a moment to pray, and all of that fell away, and I was able to be helpful. So the Lord assists us always and is assisting us even now. Thank you.
Hi, I am Matthew George. I am with this group for a couple of months, and I happened to meet with DL, and I was interested in developing projects. Before that, I was doing syndication and fundraising, and I was interested in development, and that is the time I met with the DL. So that is, so far, so good, and so I want to thank the Lord for this much blessing we have for to improve this project and getting all these things done. And we did some fundraising, and I was a syndicator before, and I told her DL about that, and then she said that why don't you do some investment, raising capital. So we did capital raise without spending that much money for marketing or anything. We did a couple of webinars and also email using MailChimp. So we raised some money that is through my previous contacts, and so they know me, and so we raised some money, and then so far we are doing good, and we improved so much from the beginning. So again, I want to thank the Lord for all His blessings.
Hi, I'm Marla Coker, and I am brand new to the team, just joined a couple of days ago, so I can't speak intelligently at all about what's happened up till this date. But I can say God is always faithful, God is always good, and I think His leading me to this project is just a continuation of how He has led and guided me through my life always. So I'm not surprised to hear the testimony of those who are saying He's just working with us and through us and for us, because He's good that way. He always is. When we lean on Him, like Aaron said, and turn to Him for help, He is always there. He's our help in time of trouble. I can say that the little exposure I've had to the team, I'm just impressed and encouraged by their kindness and consideration for each other, and for how they work well together. I'm looking forward to getting to know them better and working together moving forward and doing great things. Thank you.